welcome you. Make sure you have your coffee or whatever it is that your tea or whatever it is that you are drinking this morning. We want to welcome you to Coffee and Conversation with the program committee. I'm Sharon McKenna, co-VP of programs, and we're happy to have you here with us. Um, I want to introduce you to Linda Kevorkian, who is the senior co-VP of programs, who is just wrapping up her term and will be leaving us at the end of June. So, Linda, go ahead.
Okay, well, we're going to give you some information, but this is really going to be a session a lot about questions and answers, telling us what's going on in your branch too. And then we're going to give you some direction. So feel free to let me know if you want to say something. You can interrupt me. It's fine. I interrupt people all the time, so it's okay. Um, so this is one of the resources that I use to help us with programming is when Barb and I were co-chairs of programming, we developed a playbook, and I came across it last night when I was looking on AAUWMI.org, and she was bringing up the playbook right now, and that is very helpful because it's about branches. It's not about what the state does. It's about what each branch does. So if you could look at that, and she was going to bring it up, that would give you a lot of ideas about what the role is of being a program. This is, remember, this is not state. This is for all of you. This is what you do as a VP of programs, and it also gives you ideas of what kind of programs you could bring to the table for your branch and who you could work with. So if you get a chance to go, this is just briefly, but if you get a chance to go on the AAUWMI.org website, it'll take you right to playbooks. You can see where you can get right into the playbook. And that is very helpful. Sheila, scroll back down a little bit to where, just scroll down to where it shows where you can find programs. Go up a little bit now. There. Oh, yeah, one there. Go to one, here, right there. Well, that's the duties. That's the duties. And part of it is um, there, or maybe down. There's, well, um, the program got, here it is right here. This is where you can get ideas from for speakers for your programs, and Barb and I developed this when she was co-chair, and this was really, really helpful as far as getting ideas for who you could get to speak at your branch meetings or however you use your programs. We have luncheons every month, and then we have a program. And actually, Sharon is on that committee where she, her and another member of our branch, they actually do go into a lot of collaboration to develop programs for our branch. And I should have told Sheila to do this, but Sheila, we have actually a trifold which lists our programs for every month, and it tells what speakers we have every month at our luncheon. So, I mean, if you guys, does anyone else have luncheons with programs like we do at your monthly meetings? Do any other branches have that?
Jackson does.
Oh, Jackson
Jackson
does
has,
too.
yeah.
So how do you choose your speakers?
How do we choose our speakers? By a
Yeah.
committee. They have a programs committee and they have a programs chair and they have a programs committee, and that they're the ones that get the speakers and the topics and the programs.
Okay, good. All right, Sharon, when you and Kathy decide on what programs we're going to have each month, what process do you use?
I am not part of that committee. Linda, Kathy has a committee, and I'm really not quite
Oh,
sure what exactly she does. I do know that she works very hard to have the entire year laid out so
oh,
that we
okay. I
can
thought you
get it
were.
in our
Okay.
trifold, which we publish at the September meeting. And it
Right, and
includes
that list.
a synopsis of the speakers. She very often includes some suggested readings based on what the speaker is going to be presenting. Um, and we usually ask the speaker to speak for about an hour.
Right.
Let's get some information about what kind of meetings some of the rest of you have for which you need to develop programs. Are they luncheon meetings? Are they evening, afternoon meetings? What kind of programs are you looking for?
I have a question. Um, I'm Janine Hales. I'm with Farmington. Um, so if you have a luncheon meeting, is that on the weekend?
No,
No.
it's a Wednesday afternoon.
So how, well, this is probably more of a membership question then.
That's
You're,
okay. Go ahead. We can
well,
try and address it.
well, our meetings or our programs are in the evening to really try to grow our AAUW to include women who are either stay-at-home moms or still in the workforce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you
Right.
find that you've been successful with that?
Well,
Are you getting people
we're
who
just
might not
well,
otherwise be able to attend? Because it is an issue for us, but most of our membership, the vast majority of our membership is 70 or greater.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
and it is an issue for us. How do
Right.
we attract younger members to make sure that the branch continues?
well, that's what we're struggling with. So that's why I asked that clarifying questions.
There
Uh,
is going to be a presentation at the convention. I hope that we'll see many of you there, from Mary Namath in Dearborn, who's going to address the issue of getting new membership and many of the ways that she's been very successful with at the Dearborn branch.
Sharon, we
Great.
had three people have their hand up. So
Oh,
I think they
sorry.
want to speak on this issue.
Amy?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that my branch does evenings as well for that reason, but there are several branches that have shared over the years that they do a lunch one, but they do try to keep it to a pretty tight hour. Usually they try to do it as a brown bag, so there's not a cost associated.
Oh,
Because the other
okay.
side of that logic is if they're out working already, they can take that lunch break and be able to do it while they still have childcare set up or the school day is set up. So that's just something to think about, but it has to, it's kind of been hinted at or suggested that you just do it well of keeping it to a pretty tight hour and not a lunch, ladies who lunch kind of thing. So just wanted to share that
Oh,
side of it.
Mickey?
Uh, Plymouth Canton has evening meetings. We've considered doing half and half, but we have a lot of young members now, which is great. And that's because of our play, but we've also been encouraging them to get involved and take leadership positions. So we meet in the evening at the Plymouth Community Arts Council. We always have dinner, and it's homemade food that we bring in. We always have
oh,
wine, and that helps
wow.
encourage people to have some fun. And we are very pleased with attendance at meetings and increase in our membership. But again, I think it's really important to have afternoon meetings. We just haven't figured out how to make that work because we don't want to leave out any of those young members who are working.
And Deb, you had your hand
Yeah,
up.
I forgot how to raise my hand on the I'm with Big Rapids branch. I'm Deb Kennedy. I think I know some of you, but not all of you. So it's good to see new faces. I had been past president before Jan Van Guess. Where'd Jan go?
She's
Okay,
here.
so she's gone. Oh. Um, and I moved from Wyandotte downriver to Big Rapids. So I've had a chance to see city workings versus rural workings. For us, what in Big Rapids, what it seems to work is we start our meetings early at 5:30. And it, like Mickey, like Plymouth Canton, we have kind of a potluck. I mean, we always have more than enough food. It's like snacky finger food. So a lot of people come from work, and we try to be out by 7:30, and that has really seemed to, because it used to always be 7. Well, by the time somebody goes home and then comes back out, so that seems to have helped.
Oh, okay, good.
I know in Birmingham, where Linda and I are both from, it's very tricky because traditionally, going back many, many years, it was a ladies who lunch event that they looked forward to. And we've thought about evening meetings, but we're very concerned about this is a tricky walk to take because we're very concerned that we'll lose some of our older members who are no longer driving at night.
That's true, and a lot of them are not even living at their house anymore, so they might not even have a car anymore. And I live at my house, but driving at night is really hard for me. So that would restrict a lot of members from coming to a luncheon or coming to a meeting. So I don't think it would work for our branch. Our branch is too old. It wouldn't work for
Deb,
us. So
you're
So
you're
I think
muted,
one of the
Deb.
things we need to continue doing is sharing with each other what works for our individual branches. When
right,
you hear something that somebody else is doing, at this point in time, my feeling is the worst that can happen is you try it and see what happens. Because if you don't try anything, nothing's going to happen. So
right.
please continue to share those
Yeah.
things with us.
I've seen a lot of branches out west, it seems, are having Saturday or Sunday mornings, like a brunch meeting. I
Oh,
think we always have to be careful of
that's
the
a good
length
one.
of
Okay,
time we plan.
right, right.
And if you can keep it to an hour and a half, I think that helps.
I
So
think that Amy's idea of lunch, that's how our Chamber of Commerce does it here, and it's very successful. I think also, and we haven't mentioned it, it's probably the elephant in the room, but for us, Zoom meetings work. I mean, we don't do them all the time, but you know what I mean? Because then people don't have to drive in the winter and all of that. So uh, uh, we've really done a lot of training on Zoom meetings and they seem to work for our branch. So,
Suzanne?
Suzanne. Thank you.
This is just a comment, and I think that we have to incorporate them both just because we do not want to lose our present members, but with them aging out, we will be a dead organization. And I think this
Hmm.
is similar to what's happening with churches. And so I just think that we do have to be cognizant of both and sometimes do afternoon and sometimes do evenings. I'm in the Farmington Hills branch with Janine, and so it's just something we've always struggled with. And Janine herself didn't join until after she might have. I don't know. Were you retired? So this is the thing is this just a retired group? No, we want it to be all
no,
women. And so it's very
Hmm.
difficult. Like the prime time, I think, to join this group is right after you retired because then you don't have to worry about kids and you're not working around a work schedule, but you also have to be young enough that you're willing to drive at night and you can move a table, And
right.
so yeah, it's going to be a constant struggle, but I do think we have to do a balance.
Amy?
The only thing I was going to add is art in kind of in conjunction with what Jan was saying, but also kind of the accessibility too, is our branch in 2020 started doing all of our January and February at the time, also March meetings online. Just it's Northern Michigan, it's the weather. After I left the board, I guess the new programs person started doing in person in March. They've now had to they definitely canceled this past week and I believe they had to cancel last year's March too. But I think that can be a good way because then again, if people are taught they or learn, they can join from Florida or wherever else they might be if they winter elsewhere. But also, it does allow for easier access for people to connect when the weather might be bad. Or, I'll be honest, and it's an age thing to a point. I'm not the youngest person in the room at a lot of places anymore, but that's at once it's winter too, at 5 o'clock, if you're leaving work, it can be really hard to point that car in a different direction other than home. So if there's the option of being comfy at home and being able to participate still, then I think that also is something that branches could look at and really help.
For those of you who do Zoom meetings in the winter time, can you identify roughly what the difference is, if there is any difference between attendance at a Zoom meeting and attendance at an in-person
That's a
meeting?
good question.
Sharon,
She's muted.
you're
You're
muted.
muted, Sharon. She's still muted.
Ours is
Sharon, you're
better.
muted. Okay.
I can tell you ours is better.
Your Zoom attendance is better?
Yep.
That's
But
interesting.
we have an older membership just like everyone else, and they will not drive at night. And we're real committed to only meeting at night, I would say. But anyways, maybe we could try afternoon, see how that works. I don't know, or lunch.
Sharon, again, can you unmute so we can hear you?
No, I think, oh, she's still, there she, oh, almost. No, she's still muted.
We can't hear you.
You can press your space bar to unmute yourself.
He
You're
has a lot
still
to say
muted.
too. Yeah.
We can't hear you, Sharon.
Sharon, if you press
Maybe.
down on your space bar while you talk and keep your finger on it, that should automatically unmute you.
Hmm.
We've not heard a word you've said.
Can't the host unmute her?
I've asked her to unmute. I don't know if she's seeing my signal.
All right, let's move on to Janine and we'll see if we can get Sharon unmuted. Janine?
Okay, I'm sorry to swing the conversation back.
That's okay.
That document you showed us is on AUW about, and it had a section for suggested, I have two questions, suggested duties. Those are just suggestions. Those aren't like a bylaw thing, correct?
Right.
No,
Okay.
that's correct.
Then the second question is, according to AAUW, do we have to hold a meeting? There seems to be some whatever whatever. Do we have to hold a meeting? Like, is there a certain? Do we have to have a political meeting? Do we have to have our philanthropy people come talk, or is it just a free for all, whatever each branch wants to do?
I can comment on that.
Thank you, Ruth.
We suggest nothing is mandatory. So your branch can do whatever your branch wants to do. But we suggest and have found that the successful branches incorporate almost all of their meetings according to the AAUW of Michigan public policy priorities and the mission of AAUW, so that you're making it an AAUW meeting, which is unique to the other organizations in your town. The branches might veer from that and maybe have one meeting a year that's just like their fun meeting or their social meeting or a special meeting that you like to do in your town that's something unique to your area or something like that. But most of the meetings should be AAUW mission oriented, the mission. So when you're having your planning meeting, you start with what's our mission? And then you look at the AAUW of Michigan priorities, public policy priorities, and what fits in with those. And you design your programs around that.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Sharon, I think we have you unmuted now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes,
We
and
can.
we just had that discussion in our strategic planning committee that we are doing, maybe not doing enough of mission related speakers. We had the DIA talk about women photographers, and we've had, other things like that that are of interest to our members. But, are we really promoting, women and girls? And that was a big question of, like, and we have a variety of meetings, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., but we also have the same problem with people coming and driving at night. So it's that sort of thing. So we're trying to figure out how to do exactly what we're talking about right now.
There's two things, Janine, that are really up and coming. One is the annual branch survey, which you did last year, but this year it's really, it's required by AAUW. And to meet those various areas, one is programs, they're all aligned, not all, but they're aligned. You get points for alignment with the strategic plan. And the second is the only one you're required by your bylaws to have, unless it's written in your bylaws, you'd have to check that. But you have to have an annual meeting. The state of Michigan requires that. It's IRS. So I'm bylaws chair, so for the state.
Amy?
To Jan's, oh, and sorry, I saw Deb's hand go up. Do you want to talk first, Deb? I think you
I
left
just,
before
it's
me.
a quick comment that to me, programs and the content of your programs are so connected to membership and inviting guests.
Yeah.
And when you have good, strong mission relations, always about the advancement of women, women's equity in one way or another, you'll, I think, be able to attract a lot more guests.
Right,
And
it's
get your members
connected. Yeah.
programmed for that. That's why we're here, to reach out to the community. And today, if you see the indivisible groups around, they are exploding, at least here, mid-Michigan. And so there are people that are really interested in what we have to offer, and they just don't know about it.
And that ties in what I was just going to share really quickly with the online option that we have. And I realize that those of you more in like Southeast Michigan probably don't face this as much as we do. Like in Traverse City, Big Rapids probably kind of walks the line a little. But like because where we're at, we have very interesting people who we bring in to speak for our programs. But the beauty too of the online when we do it is we've had AAW fellows come in because they can come from anywhere, right? So, and that has actually gotten us some interesting Zooms because people will pop in and say, oh, I saw there was going to be a talk about this subject I'm interested in, or this sounded really cool. And it's a different way of inviting people that, again, can be more accessible than walking into a room that you might not know people. And I'll say, and this is something that's come up in the past, so I'm going to bring it up again, is, and my branch does this itself, much to my dismay sometimes. Sometimes is like that's why also if you're hosting your stuff at a church or something, you have to think about how that might not be approachable either. Both for the no matter how good your program is, some people just don't feel comfortable, or depending on your area and what the space is. But that's the other thing too, is sometimes a Zoom or a more neutral space or a kind of unique speaker that might not be normally accessible in your area can be a really good advantage that we can do through AAW because we have those connections all over the country and really kind of the world.
Sheila?
I kind of wanted to piggyback on what Deb was saying and also Amy. You know, the only way that that your programs are a recruitment tool is if you invite the public. And so after you've set your program, you know, doing a press release, getting the word out there, using your social media, whatever it takes to making sure your members invite guests, making sure that it's a public event by inviting the public, also ensures that if somebody does come to the event and you're able to recruit them, that you can utilize the shared Shape the Future code and give them half off of their national dues. So we have to do more than just create our events. We have to do press releases and things like that to get people interested to come. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Sheila. Janine?
Oops.
Oh, you're muted. Janine, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Janine, take the cursor and move it, and then down below will be a toolbar. And on that toolbar down below, you hit the audio. So move your mouse and the toolbar will show up. Keep moving it down to audio. Otherwise, like they said,
there we go.
Thank
you. Okay. So I want to swing back to the Zoom. I mean, we have a Facebook page. We can put out a Zoom. And let's say a bunch of people show up. Yay. How do you follow up on people who show up to Zoom?
I can help. You can require a registration like we do here, and that captures the emails. You can always, I mean, it's not as direct ask. You can, but the nice thing about Zoom is you can constantly throughout the conversation be posting the link to your branch and signing up and more information. But, and then some of it is if you, depending how you set it up, it might not be the guaranteed, but that's usually a pretty standard setup on Zoom of having people register ahead of time with their email so you can send them the link. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then so two questions that came up. What are AAUW fellows? And then press release, is there certain platforms that work for you? Um, gosh, I'm overwhelmed on any of these places. Like, back, a couple decades ago, you put it in the Detroit Free Press, the Detroit News. That's what you did, or your community newspaper. Now nobody has a newspaper. Nobody gets their hometown newspaper because it's all online. I did a rummage sale through our neighborhood house, and I'm like, oh my gosh. If I were a neighborhood house person, I don't even know where to look for this. There's so many things. So has somebody had a good luck on a certain platform? And then also, what are AAUW fellows? Speak more on that, please.
I can talk about the media. Um, Suzanne, what branch are you with?
Farmington.
So you don't have a local paper?
We used to. I
Mhm.
don't think I no. So the Farmington, we used to have two like type of papers. We don't have that anymore. We do have like an Oakland Press, but that also, um, I don't know that I get that. So I'm not sure if it's
Mhm.
online or paper.
Uh,
We
Sure,
don't get papers because we just don't read them.
sure. So, a couple options. There's usually like when you walk into a restaurant, have you ever seen those little carts that have like free newspapers? So usually those are written specific to that community. And it's not an official newspaper, but it is a place that local things are highlighted. So you can grab one of those and reach out to those individuals. So that's one option. We get a lot of traffic. Well, when I was with Wyandotte Downriver, we used to get a lot of traffic with that because for each city, Downriver covers 19 cities and townships, and each city had their own little newspaper. It's not really a newspaper, but it's just this little ad thing. And we used to put our stuff in all of those, and we would get a lot of traffic just from those little things, which you look at them and most of us don't pick them up, but some people do. So that's one option. Secondly, it's not about the newspapers that you read, it's about getting your word out. So I would still send it to the Oakland Press. I would still send it to Detroit Free Press. I would, hit all those media that you can because the idea is to kind of saturate that so that you can pull in, some people. And then definitely do it online where you can actually write the article, you can add a photo to it, you can create a Facebook post, you can share it out and share it as a public event, not just for the people that are members or your friends or people that follow you. Share it as a public event because those individuals who are paying attention to your Facebook page, they can also share it. If you're just sharing it to friends, they will not be able to share it out to the public. So make sure your settings are correct so that friends can share with friends and also mention that in the thing. Hey, please share this out because, we want this to reach as many people as possible.
So you can share just an event publicly, but not your whole Facebook thing.
Correct. Each
Okay.
post is individual, whether you
Okay.
share it public or with just your friends.
The other
Okay.
thing you can do, agree with all of Sheila's. The other thing you can do too, and I've done this before, is Meta, Facebook has targeted ads you can do. And so you can say, we want it in this area to people these ages, and it's going to create like an algorithm. And you can do that. You can start by doing it very inexpensively and to, get in to get people in the algorithm. You can also do that to get people to like, so they're following your page more. And that helps a lot too because, I mean, granted, Traverse City is a much smaller region, but if you're also focusing, I know your Southeast Michigan is somewhat saturated with branches. So if you're Farmington, of course, like you're not going to care if somebody who technically would be in a different branch comes to your meeting. But if you do it in a relatively small area and put even like $20 towards it as a sample or $10 towards it every month, that can actually get, a few people here and there that will now follow. The other thing is, and I maybe because you guys probably are Detroit, it might be a little different. I have a lot of luck. I've had a lot of luck too with almanacs. So like if you have our public radio has it, some of the freebie like we have something called the Northern Express. Lansing had the Pulse. Those things that people will pick up at like the coffee shop and read. They will also have a lot of times they'll also have like a community calendar thing going. So if there's any kind of community calendar, if you just get a recurring meeting and saying, get used to writing that out, or if you know your programs in advance, you can usually do them for a few months out. And then anybody looking to see what's going on that weekend will see, or that week, sorry, will see your programming as part of an event that they could attend. So those are just some, like, I think we use them in a smaller town, but I'm sure there's kind of more regionally neighborhood focused, if you will, that you all could take advantage of down there too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you
Ruth?
want to speak
Oh,
on the also AAUW fellows? I think you brought that up, Amy.
Can I just add one thing on the advertising too? And I think we have a membership playbook too, which
Right,
is
we do.
certainly
Yeah.
very useful. And one thing you mentioned before, you often have the trifolds is
Yeah.
tabling at various events. Do you know what I mean? And just passing those out to people is also, I think, a sort of recruiting tool for your meetings.
And just
Well,
to go back, Suzanne, because I did mean to answer yours and I lost track. Your question about fellows is so AAW has a whole fund where we give essentially grants or fellowships to students every year. They apply, they're chosen, and it can range on any number of topics. We had a woman speak about the labor movement in the UP with Copper Country and women's involvement in that, to people presenting on medical research they're doing with breastfeeding in the Native American population. And so you can go through, there's a list on the AAW national website of current fellows and past fellows. And one of the requirements of getting the fellowship is that you are available to talk to AAW branches and in AAW. Now, they don't have to if their schedule is conflicting or anything, they're not like tied to it, but there's a plethora of really interesting people talking about and doing research on really interesting things. And some are even, if you're in the like downstate area, you might even have some that live in your area or are currently studying that could even come in person. We just don't have a lot of that up here. Even if not, there could be somebody doing research in California. We had somebody speak on Antarctica to us,
Wow.
and she had just gotten back, but
oh,
she was at her university in, I think, Illinois. And so it's a really great way to be able to source some really good information. It ties into that mission statement like Ruth was talking about. It's part, it helps with those 5 stars and all of that. And it's just really interesting stuff. So it's a great resource that we have as an organization.
And that's at AAUW National, like online.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
a whole there's a whole drop down, I believe, for fellows. So it's
Oh,
like how to apply current list, and then
okay.
you can reach out through that.
And
Thanks.
let me just piggyback on that, Amy, and say that at the convention in the afternoon, we are going to have a panel of fellows speaking.
Yeah, it'll be a great sampling.
Ruth?
I just wanted to mention all of this is excellent. What everybody is saying is so good, and it's true because we've all done this and it's successful. But I would make the suggestion that one of the things you do before you go out and start doing all of this promoting is you try to get your whole branch on board. Try, because you might not be able to get all of them, but when the new members come in or the guests come in to your meetings, what we want is a welcoming atmosphere. We want people to be, our members, to be friendly and welcoming to the guests. I can remember one time years ago, I went to an AAUW meeting and I just went in and was sitting there observing, and I was a state officer at the time. And I just sat there and I just observed. Nobody talked to me. Nobody said,
oh,
welcome, or, who are you, or why are, or any, I mean, I could have been someone off the street that just walked in. Nope. we don't realize when we're with our friends, and I do this myself when I'm in a meeting. I'm talking to my friends and I'm having fun and I'm enjoying everything, and I may not even realize that there's a guest there. And I've done this myself. So my point is, make people feel welcome and included if you can, and try. I know it's hard to do. But if if they don't feel welcome or they don't feel included a little bit, do you think that they're going to return to your meetings? Or do you
Well,
think they're going to write a check for $100 or whatever it is to
okay.
to join your organization? I mean, it's just a suggestion. Thank you
Well,
for
Thank
considering it.
that's
you.
a good suggestion. And well, first we have a board meeting, and then we have a luncheon. And at our luncheon, before the speaker uh, talks to us, we do acknowledge any guest. There's the our president acknowledges any guests that are there, and they are always welcome. We have people welcoming him at the door, so I think we go above and beyond to welcome guests. I don't know if Sharon agrees with me, but we always
I
pay
would
a lot
agree
of
with you.
attention to our new guest. So
I think having our greeters at the door has been really helpful in
yeah, we have it every
identifying
month.
people who are new to us or guests to us on that day.
Right,
Deb
we have
Kennedy,
special interest. I'm sorry, Sharon. We have special interest groups, and every month we have a special interest group kind of they become a welcoming committee, and they are at the door. They're at the desk welcoming people to our meeting and to our luncheon. So I would say we're a pretty friendly group. So we're a big group. We're a large group, but I think we go out of our way to make people feel comfortable.
Deb
That's
Kennedy had her hand up too.
I'll just echo Ruth's comment first on being friendly, especially older women, and I hate to generalize, but that have been, or not older women, older members that have been in the branch a long time. They look forward to seeing their friends,
Hmm.
and so we lost a couple members because they felt we were too cliquey. And
oh,
oh,
Mm.
well, Sheila's nodding because it was our downriver branch. And so just, I don't know how it sounds like you've got a lot of different ideas, but the main thing is just don't let that happen. Make sure you have a team. So that was a great idea about the different interest groups. But I want to add one more place to get the word out. If you're near a university or community college, they usually have like a daily or weekly e-news for all the staff. And when we've included something in there, we've really added a lot of university, fair, ours is Ferris State University, staff
oh,
as members, because we used that to just, and you just contact the university. It's usually pretty easy to get it in. And we also
I
have a
love.
women's network, although I guess they're kind of floundering. So we've gotten some of those young women in. That's it.
Thank you, Deb.
Great.
Janine?
That's great.
So we welcome a few new members. They sign into a guest sheet. We follow up with a snail mail. Thank you for coming. Contact. Sometimes we follow up with an email. What other follow ups do you guys employ to those first time guests?
Ask them if they have any questions.
We have a new member orientation,
Oh,
and they're invited. The new members, some of your best new member prospects are a new member recruiting a new member.
Yes.
So you have
oh,
new members that, even though it's for them, they can bring someone. And I remember this was my best moment as membership chair. We got 8 new members one night.
Mm.
And it was
wow.
really like an introduction to AAUW and the whole membership deal. And then people who didn't think they were interested maybe found out they were.
I know our
Right.
membership used to at Traverse City, and some still do have almost like there's an organization, our chamber does it, and we call them like explorers and navigators. And so you have a certain group of or a certain mix, I would say too, not just, try to be selective or thoughtful about your mix of members that when they have somebody like that has expressed interest, they might reach out and say, "Hey, just wanted to see, would you like to join me at the next meeting or something?" So it's not, again, it's not just, "Hey, nice to have had you come. Do you want to write a
Right.
check now?" And some people are fine with that, right? Some people are like, "Great." I know there's a debate for our region. Somebody's sending, "Oh, a whole year and I get state, local, and national for $100, and this seems like a great cause." Done. But if it's a matter of like helping them feel more integrated, having that kind of friend hand or that mentor sponsor, even if they don't know them beforehand, having that first initial contact can be a really good help. And the reason why I'm saying is a good mix too is, we have a lot of volunteers who are really active, but if
Oh,
everybody's
praise her.
70 or 80 and you get somebody who walks in the door who's 50, it'd be nice if there was somebody closer in age or life experience that can be that good connector. And if it's not, believe me, I know tons of amazing women of all ages at AAW, and I know we can be really good. Yes, we have to watch ourselves at meetings. Ruth was 100% right, but they can also be very good at being very welcoming. But I think that personal touch can sometimes make that difference.
Thanks, Amy.
I
Jan?
can't find my.
I was going to say we used to do this in my branch. Well, we don't anymore, but we had always would invite a new person. I might invite them to coffee, and then it was one on one, similar almost to this idea, but were many more, and that worked out really well. Or lunch or whatever, just to
Oh,
have a one person. So
Sheila?
After Sheila talks again.
Yes, I just wanted to say, Deb brought up a great point. She mentioned like an AAUW orientation, or, what is AAUW? I can tell you that when and Deb is the one that recruited me to AAUW, I had no idea what it was. This was in 2016. I think there are a lot of people still out there who have never heard of AAUW and don't know what it is. So if you're looking for a mission-based program for your area, I would say doing a AAUW, what's it all about type of thing, and inviting the community, not just your own members, which, by the way, I think a lot of members could use a re-education on what AAUW is all about. Um,
Right.
but that's a great program right there. Letting people know, hey, there's this organization, and let's start with 1881 and work our way forward. And how is it relevant today? That's an excellent program idea, and I think anybody on the state board would love to come and provide that program to your branches.
Thank you, Sheila. Janine? No. Mickey?
So this is related, but back to marketing a little bit, which just occurred to me. And I'm assuming that a lot of you partner with another organization in your communities. We happen to partner with Garden City, who's right down the road, because we hold our annual children's play in that community. And we've joined the Garden City Business Alliance. So they do a lot of outreach for us. We do outreach for them. We've garnered some new members that way. But also, we go to their events and pass out literature in their community, and they do the same for us. And that has really helped not only garner some new members, but also has helped increase attendance at our annual children's play, which is one of our major fundraisers. So we are thankful for that connection.
mhm.
Thank you, Mickey. Janine, did you have another comment?
I do. When you say pass out literature, because we're approaching an event this Wednesday, what specifically are you like passing out? Like, are you guys passing out the programming trifold? Are you passing out memberships? Are you passing out one-off events? What are you passing out? Which I know we're kind of deviating from programming, but I think
Yeah.
programming really, really impacts
Membership.
the whole
Yeah.
thing, like
Right.
the solid organization. So
Hmm.
sorry, but not sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, Janine. They're very, very closely connected.
Yeah.
It's really hard to separate them.
So what are you guys passing out? I guess is my big question.
Mickey?
So last year when we were in doing events, in the community, I just had a one-page list of AAUW, what AAUW does, and then some things about Plymouth Canton. But we have done a large postcard that we will not mail. But on one side is AAUW of Michigan and AAUW National and our mission, and on the other side is everything relevant to Plymouth Canton.
Amy?
Oh, sorry, I saw another hand up, so I wanted to be sure.
Oh,
So I'm trying to give this, I don't know like how much context you guys can get, but you see it's about the size of my palm here. And I use this because what we did at our branch, and we've done it for 10 years now. Like most branches, we do a book sale every year. We also do a monthly kind of mini mon at one of our markets. And so we have a bookmark, but it's more like this. It's a little, not quite as wide, but we create it to be pocketbook sized, right? So it slips easily into a purse or a wallet. And we put the branch website on it. We have an email that follows all the presidents, it's just AWTC. And then kind of our big highlights of what we do, our, scholarships, the events we sponsor, and then some of the things that we do as an organization. And so it's a nice thing to hand out that has everything people need on it. It's a bookmark, which also fits in with some of our major activity. But it's also something people can easily carry around in their purses and bags with them too, and hand out as they're talking to people. So we've
Oh,
found
that's
that
great.
really works for us. Not if, and I wanted to show specifically because if you do a regular bookmark, they tend to be a little longer and they get kind of beat up. But this one's a little more compact size so that it fits better into your purse or your billfold.
thank you, Amy. Any other
I just want,
questions,
I
comments?
wanted just to say before we end is just how closely programs works with membership and public policy. We work as a close team. Just wanted, I'm sure you guys all know that, but just to point that out. No, any more questions or comments, like Sharon said?
Are we going to talk about the convention?
Yes, Sharon, yes, that was the last thing we were going to do. Let's talk about the convention. Absolutely. Thank you, Sheila.
Uh-huh.
Well,
I have one more question. Sorry.
yes.
Amy, is your bookmark thing online anywhere?
It's not exactly, but if you emailed me, I can probably ask what the dimensions are, and I can try and send you guys like a picture of what it looks like. So,
Yeah, I
just
guess I'm more worried about content.
yeah, I could definitely get you.
Per
I might even still have the design from the last time. I think I ended up doing some of the updates. We've had it so long, it's gone through like 3 different design programs too. But if you just email me at the email I put in the chat, um, or it's on this, honestly, it's on the state website too under our
Oh, so
bios.
just go
I should be
Okay.
able to get you
website.
that. So.
And is that
Thank you.
something
I,
you update annually, Amy, or
We
more
don't
often than
have to
that?
do it annually because we tried to make it as evergreen as possible. Every few
Okay.
years when we got need a new print, because we'll do a few hundred at a time, we might re-examine and say, are we still doing this program? Have we added a different program? So, but it's real, it doesn't have dates on it. It's, annual book sale in May or books for kids, there's for classrooms, da 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 da. So we don't say exactly when we do the things, it's more of a general statement. And then, sorry, that's my glucose alarm. And then the information we have is evergreen, like the website and our AAWTC at Gmail email. So we try to keep it so we're not also, printing 300 and 100 of which are going to end up on people's floors of their car or something. So
all
So
right.
you keep it very generic.
yeah, keep it generic and then just periodically update it.
Thank you. Jan?
I was just going to say, I believe there are some examples in the membership playbook. And the chair, the vice president of membership, they have a committee too that is collecting those. So, Janine, you might want to connect with Eva Habib. She's listed on the website too. So,
All right, we only have a few
All
minutes
right. Wait,
left.
go
Sharon,
ahead.
do you want to talk about the convention
I
a
do
little
want to
bit?
talk about the convention. Sheila has brought up on the screen the convention packet. Many of you may know, if you don't already know, your president and finance officer have been informed that we've extended the early bird deadline until March 31st. So if you have not heard about that yet, you might want to contact your president or finance officer. Um, those submissions have to be sent to Sheila by mail. Registration can't be done online now and still get the early bird discount, but do reach out to your leadership team about that. We have some wonderful things planned for the program at convention. If you haven't looked at it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, please take a look at it. There will be the panel of fellows speaking. We have two wonderful presentations in the morning, one by Sheila and one by Mary Namath from Dearborn about membership. We will have Tremaine from National speaking to us in the morning, and we're all very excited about that.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
do hope we're going to see a lot of you there. We are, in addition, Linda's retiring. This is her last term as co-VP, but I will be going on, and I will be looking for committee members for two things specifically at this point in time. The Women's Equality Day luncheon, which will be August 29th this year. It's held in Livonia. And we'd love to see many of you there. For many of you, it's not a onerous drive. And we will also be looking for people to serve on our committee for planning of the convention in 2028. Our committee this year has been absolutely amazingly effective. We've met every 2 weeks since I think we started meeting in late October. And being on the committee has been a lot of fun. It's been informative, and we'd love to have some of you join us. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Any other comments, questions? Amy, Sheila, Jan?
Well, the only thing I was going to suggest really quickly is, and Sharon, you've done a great job throughout this of bringing it up, is, we've talked about the panels, but I think really emphasizing that, especially if you're involved in programming or you're talking to the president of your branch, a lot, I think some branches send people every year and they kind of know what they're going to get out of it. But if your branch hasn't gone or you haven't come before, um, or your leadership has changed over enough and it's been a few years, the programming is based around how we can be better AAW, right? Sharon brought that up. We've got a whole discussion about programming to attract new members of different, diversity. And we've got the fellows talking. It was very enlightening to hear that somebody who's a member said, what are fellows? And I get why. For the longest time, it was a push to fund those. And then the fund for that is so high now that AAW basically said, please stop giving us money. But we're still giving out that money and still doing that. So we're going to have a couple fellows talks. We get a better picture of how we fit as an organization into the larger picture of education and the country and everything else that's going on. It's a great way to share more ideas like this. There's a meeting or there's a kind of party on Friday night, right? A reception. I'm going to be writing
Mhm.
trivia for it. So I write very good trivia, so you should all come and do that. And it's just a great way to meet people from other branches and really come together. I'll be honest, by this time of year, both when I was branch president, on the state board and other positions, I can feel a little burnt out sometimes. I think we all do. It's why most of us take the summer off. But I think I always really come back so invigorated with so many great ideas for my board going into the next term that no matter who's on your board or if you've had a ton of change or no change, it's just a really, really good way to reconnect all the pieces and get innovative new ideas, but also not be asking you to reinvent the wheel either. It's just how do we improve? How do we tweak? How do we make it fit ourselves better? So I really wanted to emphasize that, like I said, Sharon did a great job. There's so much stuff we've talked about today that will be covered at the convention, or there'll be ideas for it at the convention. So I really hope all of you guys can come and you can encourage other members of your board or your branch to come because everybody will get something different out of it too.
Suzanne?
Okay, so I've never been to this before, and I'm still learning a ton about AAUW, even though I've been in it for a couple years, and this is my second board membership position. But um, at this convention, like, is it one speaker for everybody? Are there breakout sessions? Do I have to choose? I think I'm the only one going, and I'm like, I want to go to every single one. Well,
Well,
maybe I don't want to go to bylaws like that, whatever. But
Yeah.
but all the other ones, I'd want to go and get all the information.
Well, interestingly enough, Suzanne, this very often we do have breakout sessions and you do have to make choices, but not this year.
Okay.
So you will be able to see everything that's presented during the day. You don't have to
Okay.
make any choices.
Okay, I sat next to Mary Namath at
Hmm.
our like meet and greet for just the areas, and wow, I was destined to sit next to her. I called up Janina on my way home and I'm like, "Oh my God, this woman from Dearborn."
Oh,
So
goodness.
I'm very excited to hear her speak too. Um of course I can look on the AAUW website. Any other uh suggestions on how do I get a crash course on the gist of all of AAUW? Like I've looked up facts, I've done a little trivia for our membership too, but these are just like when did it start? Where did it start? What was its name? What is Nick Whistle? You know what I mean? Stuff like this. But is there any suggestions on where to get a crash course on it?
Jan? Yeah.
I just wanted to say I'm a little offended by the bylaws comment, but at annual, you will hear about bylaws at the annual meeting because we have to do it then. So I'm not trying to offend you or anything. And I think the crash course really, besides just the website, but I'd invite you to contact any of us, seriously.
Hmm.
I've been on the state board for 20 years now, it seems like, but no, it's not that long. But anyways, do you know what I mean? I just would welcome your questions to any of us, seriously.
Thank you, Jan. I would echo that. Everybody, I'm relatively new to the board. I've only been on a couple of years, but everybody that I've reached out to has been so incredibly helpful. So do contact us, any of us at any time. We'd be happy to talk with you.
I would echo
Amy?
that. And, especially if you're getting into Zooms, I mean, again, Southeast Michigan can be better. State boards, I'll reiterate too, we don't sometimes remember to say this. State board members are available to join you for your meetings too,
Mhm.
or to talk to you individually, but also to your branch. I mean, I did a Zoom with Deb's when I first got elected. But also I think attending conventions is huge because you do get that one-on-one. You get to meet people who have been in it for decades or brand new and have all these different perspectives. I think a little of it too is the playbooks that have been mentioned a few times here. Yes, they're for each role, but if you want to learn a little bit more about it, those first pages of like basic rules and responsibilities
Mhm.
kind of give you a really good inspiration of what's out there and what's going on. So those are great. If you can ever go and sit in the AW National, like gosh, why did I forget him, Jan? You're unmuted. I think you could say at the calls where we can go and get questions answered.
Oh, office hours.
Office hour.
Right.
Why couldn't I think of that? I think my brain was trying to make it harder than that was.
Right. And
And
they're
even if you don't have questions,
Tuesday and
listening to
Thursday
them. Oh,
afternoons.
sorry, Jan, what?
I'm sorry. Office hours are Tuesday and Thursday
The
afternoons.
afternoons. Mhm.
And if you ever have a chance to, I think sometimes sitting in on stuff like that or other kind of community conversations like that, community conversations like this is why we started these this year. Um, Even if you don't have a question, sometimes you can learn from the questions being asked of, oh, this is why somebody didn't hear about this and we thought that this wasn't working, or we've been hearing about this going on, but I hadn't heard anything yet, and I just found out it's launching, in July, or whatever else might be going on. And so, um, and a little bit is just learning as you go because some of it is going to be what is generally out there, but then making it apply to your branch and your people. And so that's a big part of it too, I think, is picking and choosing what works, being willing to, at my job, we're getting into this conversation right now about being a advocate for pilot culture, right? Like you can try things and have it fail. And it's better to have tried it and have it fail
That's
than to
right.
just keep doing things the same way and not understanding why you're not getting more members or why, something is changing. And so I think not just accepting that, but you just said you're in your second position on the board. I think advocating that too. I've found that sometimes at my own branch that the more I talk and get involved at the higher levels of AAW, a lot of branches can be slightly disconnected from the bigger mission. And so I think being able to be the advocate at your branch level can really help your branch too. You don't have to know everything. This is something we talked about when I hosted conference on running for office. Is the reason why women don't run for office or have to be asked multiple times is they think they have to be an expert when they walk in on it. And most men only have to be asked once or twice because they just need to hear somebody say, "Oh, you'd be good at it." And like it's similar with AAW and learning and being a leader is you're learning as you go. Nobody expects you to be perfect. This is a volunteer organization. And so just all the different ways that you can touch on it and the people you can reach out to, always do it. I've never been to something where I found somebody that was really interesting speaking or a board member or anything that was like, I'm pretty busy, don't get in touch." So just keep that in mind.
Thank you, Amy. Sheila?
Amy alluded to this, but I can tell you pretty quickly after I joined AAUW, a few years into it, I ended up on the state board and talk about a learning experience. Now, I'm sure everybody on the board would agree. I feel like I know so much more, right? Because you're not just seeing it from the perspective of your branch level, you're seeing it from the state level. And sometimes we're involved in things at national, like Jan is on a national committee. We see things, from that perspective too. So as far as a learning curve, I mean, joining the state board is a huge opportunity to learn and gain so much more information and knowledge than I ever thought possible. That's just my story.
Sheila, I would have to echo that and say that what I've learned in the last 2 years is just, it's been enormous, absolutely enormous. But I would also add that if you can't join the state board, joining one of our committees would be almost as good, and we'd love to have you.
I was just going to stress going to convention. It made a total difference for me. The first one I went to was in Ann Arbor. Debbie Dingle, who at the time was her husband, was the representative or congressman. She was our speaker. And I think bottom line is you will meet and make friends and connect with so many just incredible, mostly women. I was going to say people, but so if you, I am sick that I can't go this year again because I'm recovering from a fourth hip surgery, but I'm doing great. So I'll be there next time for sure.
Good. Thanks, Deb. Well, we are a little bit over today. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I think this has been an absolutely wonderful discussion, and I've appreciated all of your questions and comments. I'm looking very much forward to meeting you face to face in another month in Battle Creek. And with that, unless there are any further comments, I'll say thank you for coming, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for a good
Thanks, Sharon.
season.
Thanks.
Good meeting.
Yeah. Goodbye.